What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD Mobile video. So today is the day that we talk about the bots yet again. I kind of feel like this is starting to become more of an annual thing, but it hasn't gotten any better, ladies and gentlemen. It has not. So before we get into the video, make sure to join in on the Discord that I do have for the channel right now. And also, if you are feeling very generous, be sure to sign up for the membership perks on the channel as well. And also a big shout out to Jordansky for giving me a $12 donation during my previous live stream. So a big thank you to him as well. If you guys want to get shout out, be sure to donate as well. But yes, anyways, let's actually get into the main topic of this video. So bots have been an ongoing blessing, but at the same time, an ongoing problem in this game. So first off, let's talk about the blessing portion, which obviously going against bots isn't necessarily always as hard as going against real people, and it does help you progress through camo grinds a lot faster. And it also gives you a moment of relaxation after you had a long battle in one of the hardpoint lobbies, whether it be ranked or non-ranked. Trust me, I like when those happen, but there's also some issues with these bots that needs to be addressed. So we've been hearing a lot more complaints than usual with bots, and typically whenever bots got buffed, there would be some initial complaints here and there, but they wouldn't always come out as often, right? You know, like they would stay there for a little bit, but then, you know, we wouldn't really hear any more complaints until they got buffed again. But I think we've reached a certain point where they're already starting to become a little bit too powerful for even the best of players. What I mean by that is now they're starting to punish players for things that are kind of just out of their control. I mean, it's not like they weren't doing that before, but they're doing that even more so now. Specifically when it comes to ranked matches, I've had my friend Tabby tell me about some issues that she's had with bots. But, you know, when they start matches like that, they can't normally get a kill because, like, you know, the moment they spawn in, they're already being basically wall hacked or, you know, just cross-mapped by a bot with a Man of War or a Type 19, whatever the case may be. And it's getting to the point where there's, you just cannot do anything about it. Bots are not, by any stretch of the imagination, unkillable. They are definitely still killable. But it's getting to a point where they're killing players in situations where we really don't have any control over. It's as if you're actually going against a full-on wall hacker with aimbot, and there's no real way to counter it because they'll just always know where you're at all times. At first, you know, I used to believe that the bots were actually a little bit more sound sensitive, so maybe if you made a footstep, they'll start tracking you through a wall. Which is something I have noticed over time. You know, sometimes I look at the kill cam and the moment they hear a single footstep on their end, they'll start looking at me through a wall and then they'll kill me. But that's not what's happening anymore. So you're literally just spawning in and you're just getting lasered immediately. And people that go into ranked matches will sometimes just non-stop be dealing with that almost to the point where they actually lose the game. And if in some rare cases, they actually do lose the game. The thing is that it could happen to anyone, no matter how good you are or how bad you are, you're just going to get severely punished and there's no way to fight it. And it's not just the wall hacking issues that I have a problem with. And I know a lot of people tell me on my streams that, oh, it's the weapons that the bots are using. They're just too powerful. Look, I don't care if they have an SVD or an M13 or Type 19 or even a Man of War. It's the weapons aren't the problem. It's the way how the bots function is what's the main problem. I truly don't believe that the devs give the bots like newer weapons so they could just dominate you. I think they just put them there just to at least keep them current with what the game has. You know, for a long time, at least the first 2 or 3 years, the bots had just mainly the AK-117 or the PDW, and that's it. You know, they did change a little bit earlier in those times with the striker. I heard like it was a pretty overpowered thing, so they had to remove that. But for the most part, it was usually just like the AK-117, AK-47, just like the oldest weapons in the game for pretty much since launch. And then they started updating them with the Bison, with just other newer weapons. And then eventually we got stuff like the Type 19 and so on. So it wasn't always the same weaponry every time. So I felt like they just changed them just to at least make them keep up with current times. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's not really much of an issue, but again, it's just how the bots function is what's the main problem. Updated them recently so that it doesn't look like on the kill cam that they're actually looking you through walls, but it's pretty obvious. It's like a hacker trying to pretend that they don't have wall hacks. That's That's the best way I could describe how the bots work right now when they use their wall hacks. And when it goes to their accuracy, that's another thing that I do have to question, because you know they do look a little bit more accurate in the kill cams, but there are times where, like, let's say they'll shoot you across the map and like they won't be landing a single shot on you. Like it sometimes it could be headshots, sometimes it could be regular, just normal body shot kills. But there was one clip that I actually had in particular. I think it was with the VLK Rogue Legendary video that I made. I'm glad I recorded it. It was in I think in a Nuketown match where I got killed across the map with a bot using an M13, and the bot was literally just firing straight up, and he was landing every shot. Like it was just meters from where I was. Just for extra context, let me give you some proof of what I'm talking about. Okay, yeah, bots are. Oh my god, is he aiming? And the fact is, this is only just one example of how bad it could be with these bots. Because at least before, they at least had to sometimes hit you, but here they legitimately do not have to hit you anymore to kill you. And I think that's probably one of the biggest gripes I have against these bots, because you're getting punished for situations that are completely out of your control. No amount of map knowledge or gun skill is ever going to save you from a situation like that. Look, it's a public match. I mean, that game took place in a public match, so yes, there's no stakes, but if it happens in a ranked match where, you know, winning is absolutely necessary, you can't win if you're having bots just completely laser you like that all the time, especially if you have to deal with real players that are also in that same team. And I'm sure this is something that a lot of players are dealing with every single match that they get into if there is a bot involved. It's just insane to me how much cheating there is in this game, and it's not even from real players. While people in Black Ops 6 and I guess Black Ops 6 Warzone have to deal with real hackers, these are the hackers that we have to deal with. So in one of the recent updates on Reddit, they did manage to ask one of the community managers on what's the, you know, basically what's the bot situation looking like, right? He said, "Hi, when will you guys get fixed to the bot situation?" Sorry, his grammar's a little weird. "Especially with bots in ranked. They are legit better than a lot of legendary players. They are running around hip firing and killing you cross maps with Type 19s, Type 25s, AS Vows, M13s, Rust, etc. Simplify steps slightly in the open. You are dead before you have a chance." He's basically saying if you go out in the open, you're done for. The community manager says, "Hey, we've actually checked into quite a few of these whenever they look like it might be bugs, and most of the time we got the match results back, the playbacks, with no obvious issue based on the high rank of the match, where the high ranked players were still beating them despite them being hard to fight. There were of course a few bugs we did confirm too, though, which we'll try to fix whenever it pops up. So if you have any clips or info showing that, we'd be happy to check." Here's the problem with the response that the community manager said, because they are completely out of the loop, and sometimes I even wonder whether or not they actually play their own game. This bot situation with wall hacks, aimbot, how they're killing you across the map with little to no issue at all before you even show your face, this is not a one-time or a rare occurrence. This is an occurrence that happens every single game for the past 5 years. This is I guess in their eyes, this is a 5-year-old bug. I wouldn't even say it's a bug, because the bots have progressively gotten worse over time, over these major updates. So that would signify to me that someone is tweaking them a little bit too hard. And look, there's nothing wrong with making the bots a little challenging sometimes, especially in ranked matches. But they're killing you in situations where you cannot counter it at all. In fact, you don't even know that it's about to happen. I think that's honestly the worst part of it. And shit like that is what basically turns a lot of people away from playing the game for a longer time. Yeah, they'll turn on the game sometimes, but when they're constantly getting shitted on by just AI that just seems to know everything about you, yeah, it's gonna turn people away, because they're just like, fuck, what can I do about that? So this is not a bug. This is something that was deliberately programmed into these bots. But what we're just asking for is for you to tone down the aimbot, tone down the wall hacks. They could keep them. Keep it in mind, they're AI. They're AI. They're not real players. But at the same time, tone it down so it won't happen as often. My friend Tabby, someone that I play with on a regular basis, has told me that she got into a ranked match, I guess through like a bot invite, and she was playing hardpoint and she almost lost the match because she couldn't even move from her spawn. How do you justify that as being a challenge? It's not a challenge. That's not even fun. Whoever's in charge of the AI, and I've said this before, even through streams, even though I said it in the heat of passion, I hope they get fucking fired. Or if so, like, someone has to tell them to get their shit together, because this is insane to me. Like, how much stronger do you want these guys to be? And I ask this question every single time I make a video about these bots. Like, when is it enough? And look, I'm not going to say, like, just because they have issues with bots, I'm not going to say that they're just bad at programming the game overall. I mean, we've gotten a lot of good things thanks to the developers of this game. We've gotten a lot of improvements. But the one thing that has never improved, period, is the bots. They've become worse and worse and worse, and it's gone to a point where now we can't control the situation anymore. I want something to happen. I want a pro team, like a current pro team that plays this game. I want them to go against a team of fully locked in bots and tell me if they could win a match. Or if they can, it's probably going to be very close. Because I'll be honest with you, this is literally how strong the bots are. You know, in the past, I've made jokes about how bots are eventually going to replace pro players in, you know, the leagues. Obviously, that's never going to happen, but I've always made jokes about that. But at this point, I'm actually starting to believe that's going to become a reality. Because again, like I said earlier in the video, no amount of map knowledge or gun skill is going to save you from these guys. At this point, whoever's developing them is probably not developing them with the, I guess, the idea of challenging players. I think they're just putting them in or programming them the way that they are just to piss them off. I 100% believe that they are just programming them the way that they are just to infuriate any player that comes across them or becomes a victim to them. Because at this point, they're not challenging anymore. They're impossible. If you don't know where they are, but they always know where you are at all times the moment you even spawn in, what can you do? Look, Season 3 is around the corner, and again, I doubt they're going to fix anything. If anything, they're going to make them worse. But, I mean, this needs to be brought, like, to the attention of the developers as much as possible now, because at some point, it's going to get to the point where we can't, like, the moment we get into a match, that's it. We're donezo. We've lost the match before it even begins. Like, something needs to change. And I am 1000% serious this time. Like, they have to fix this, like, right away before it becomes a bigger problem. And it's already become a bigger problem. And what I mean by that is, since the bots are amped up a little bit further in ranked than they are in public matches, it's going to turn a lot of players, specifically new players, away from ranked matches if all they're going to see is just them getting aimbotted by bots all day until they reach master. Like, they might turn away from ranked before they even get to that point, and they're just going to go to public matches and just stay there. Look, I don't know how much more they're going to buff these things, but we're just simply asking them to be toned down. We're not asking you to make them completely weak to the point where they don't shoot at us at all or they just miss every single shot. We're just literally asking you to make them fair. Because simply looking at us through walls or, you know, firing at the sky and somehow killing us, that's not the right move. It's not making it challenging. It's just making them bullshit. That's all you're doing. The ball's in your court, devs. I really don't know what to say at this point, but I hope to God that, like, I don't have to make another bot video like next year or maybe in another 6 months, depending on how things go. But please, man, we're just asking you to tone them down. That's all we want. We're not asking for the world. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe for some more COD Mobile content. I'll see you guys next time.